Hello everyone and welcome to the Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm Jack Daniels, your host, and this is a very special show. This is our 200th show since we started back in 2008. And before I introduce today's guest, we're going to go back to that very first show back in June 2008.
Welcome to our new show, the Williamson County Sports Connection. And my name is Ralph Ringstaff. I'm the athletic specialist for Williamson County Schools, and I will be your host. This show will be geared to provide information which will be helpful to our parents and students playing sports in our middle schools and high schools. I also hope this show will be fun to watch for the average sports fan in Williamson County. Our Williamson County schools, they're very fortunate to have a rich tradition in its athletic programs. In each sport offered, Williamson County schools have teams ranked among the best in the state and compete each year for the state championship.
All right, welcome back. As now you know who my guest is today, Coach Ralph Ringstaff, who was on the very first show back in June 17th, 2008. Welcome, Ralph.
Thank you, Coach Daniels. It's a pleasure being here at the 200th show. I mean, it's great. Wow. I think I did 80-something, and you've done the rest, 120-something. Y'all have been really getting with it.
Well, it wasn't my idea to bring you back. I'll tell you that right now. It was Creed and Newt. They wanted to get you back on the show since you started way back then. And, they twisted my arm. And I said, well, I'll give them a call and try to get them to come back out here. But I want to get back to that very first show. Do you remember who your guest was for that show?
I remember that very first show. I was sweating about as much as I am now. And I know I really messed that show up big time. I think it was the athletic trainer over all the schools, Tim Hoskins.
You're right.
Correct? Okay. And I remember having a monitor that I was reading off of, and everybody at central office at Williamson County Schools gave me a very hard time when it aired, because I really messed up over and over. It was the worst 30 minutes of my life, I think.
Well, I was going to ask you if you had a monitor, because when you open up that show, you're for about 8 minutes straight, man. You're looking straight into that camera, and you're just going word for word for word as you're going up thinking, he's got to be looking at something.
And people just said I was a robot just staring at it, and I was sweating, and just like I am now, and I think my face had lost all color. I was so nervous that day.
Oh, you did a great job, and you've done a great job of getting this show off the road. I hopefully haven't messed it up too many times as we've continued on to our 200th show.
Well, the first show, I think I got more and more comfortable in front of the cameras and with the coaches, and I became more and more prepared with the questions and things like that. And it was more of a dialogue between the coaches and I somewhat after that, but I remember I was very nervous the first time. It's not like you're in the studio and 2 or 3 people are watching you. I kept thinking, okay, a lot of people are watching me, and that made me more nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And I got over that. And you would think after being a school board member, being on TV a lot of times, that it would make me feel at ease, but it did. It made me nervous.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember I was a guest on your show a couple of times, and you were always great about sending me some questions that you were going to ask so I could mentally kind of be ready for those questions. I don't do that. I've had guys ask me, you don't send me some questions? I said, well, I'll send you some. I ain't going to guarantee you I'm going to ask them, because I just kind of fly up the seat of my pants half the time anyway. But I remember you doing that and kind of guiding the way. And then I guess it was your last show. We're coming up the elevator, and you told me that you had resigned and you were leaving to go to Murfreesboro.
Yes.
So tell us what you're doing now.
I'm the Human Resource Director of Murfreesboro City Schools. I hop on 840 and I get there in about 20 minutes. I live in College Grove. I love the work. I'm considered an executive administrator with Murfreesboro City Schools. The director of schools, she still likes me. I've got them all fooled. They think that I know what I'm doing. So as long as I can fool them, it's great. I work with the school board member of Williamson County there, Gary Anderson.
Okay.
He and I work very closely together. I guess we sometimes try to give the director of schools, Dr. Linda Gilbert, some advice, and 99% of the time she ignores our advice, but we still give it. And it's really great working with her. She values our opinions, and she even asks for our input from time to time on issues. But it's really great because I get to work at Murfreesboro City Schools, work with teachers, help them succeed in the classroom, and then I go to Page High School and I end the day working with students as coaching basketball and directing that program, and I really enjoy my day. I get off, I leave work about 4:30, get to school, and then we practice till about 6:30, and then we have games, and so my day's full each and every day, 9 months out of the year. That's my schedule, from really 7:30 till 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Well, I don't know very much about Murfreesboro City Schools. How many schools are in your system?
Thank you for asking. We have 12 schools. Our system is a pre-K through 6th grade. We have 7,500 students, 12 schools, and we're building another one. We're opening another school the 2014-2015 school year. So we're right now in the process of rezoning, which you can imagine there's all kinds of headaches with rezoning. It's really a tough job for school board members, but we as administrators in the central office, we have to do the recommendations. You know, this area needs to go to this school, and so forth. We have 600 teachers, certified teachers. We have 1,400 employees total. It's been in existence, Murfreesboro City Schools, for over 125 years. When Dr. Gilbert came on board, we had 2 schools on the verge of getting taken over by the state of Tennessee, and we've made such tremendous progress that the state uses some of us as presenters and models for other school systems. Other school systems call us on a continual basis, you know, how are you doing this, how are you doing that? And we're happy to show them.
Now, you said 12 schools. Is that all K through 8 schools, or what's your breakdown there?
We have pre-K through 6th grade,
okay,
and we have one school dedicated solely toward pre-K, and then we have K through 6 at all of our other schools.
Okay.
Now, after they graduate to 6th grade, they go to the county.
Okay. So you don't have to deal with athletics then?
Well, you wouldn't think so, but believe it or not, I'm the athletic director of Murfreesboro City Schools.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Okay.
We have a basketball league.
Oh, okay.
And I do all the scheduling. I dictate the season. You can start tryouts on this date, and here are the games start on this day. And we have 2 divisions. We have a small schools division and a large school division. We have JV, which is 4th grade and some 5th graders, and we have varsity 5th and 6th graders. We play 2 nights a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and now I've been given the directive on starting the soccer league, which I know very little about soccer, and so it's going to be interesting. Yes, I've solicited some help, so we're going to mirror the basketball league as well with the soccer schedule. Okay. It makes sense, and we're working on getting some donations for the uniforms and things like that for soccer. And the Murfreesboro City Parks and Rec is wanting to partner with us on golf league, which is great. Our school system, we're considering an urban school system. We have 80% free and reduced lunch at one school, and for an average, we have probably about 60% free and reduced lunch. We have breakfast in the morning for all of our children who desire it, free breakfast, and we do a snack after school.
Now, you said that the JV and the 6th grade, I guess, is your varsity, but are these supplemental positions, or are these volunteer type things?
No, they are supplemental positions. We have a cheerleading squad as well, and I'm over that. A head coach gets $1,000, an assistant coach gets $500, and a cheerleading sponsor gets $500. We have a head coach and assistant coach for the boys, and a head coach and assistant coach for the girls team, and we have 1 or 2 cheerleading sponsors.
Do you see it growing out beyond soccer and basketball then, on down the line, or?
We may get into flag football. That's been suggested as well, but I want to start out slow.
Sure.
And I'm pretty busy. We hired 70 new teachers this past year, and with opening a new school, I'm going to be really busy this school year from transfers, because if the school board accepts our recommendations, we're going to have extra teachers at every school, existing school. So we're going to have to monitor the transfers and things like that. We're in the process of looking for a new principal at the new school. So they'll come on board in January and start getting their staff together.
So you're inside the city limits of Murfreesboro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So all those schools are inside those city limits?
Yes.
So anything that's outside in Rutherford County, that's going to be run by the county, whether it's a K through 5 and a middle school and all that other kind
Exactly.
of stuff as it goes. So do you sixth graders go up and play a Rutherford County school? I mean,
And that's a good question, Coach. We lose a lot of our sixth graders to Rutherford County middle schools because they want the middle school experience.
I got you.
And we're trying, and we understand that, but at the same time, we don't want to lose students, to another school system. We feel that we can educate those sixth graders just as well as another school system, but rumor has it, and the perception is, if that child does not start in middle school as a sixth grader, then it'd be tough to make them athletic teams as a seventh grader, the new kid in school, and they've already got their team set and things like that. So a lot of them want to get in as a sixth grader and can go there for the full 3 years.
Now, I'm assuming you have your own association. You don't belong to the Tennessee Middle
No, we do not.
Athletic
We do not belong to the Tennessee Middle Schools Athletic Association, but we do get TSSAA officials through one of the associations in Tennessee.
Right. Well, that's pretty interesting. That's the information I didn't know. I didn't know you guys did any kind of things in athletics.
I didn't either, and they take it serious. Those gyms are packed with parents, and they get very vocal. It's an experience.
Well, it's also probably a little bit of revenue that comes in. They charge for the games and that kind of stuff.
Yes, they do charge for the games, and that's where they buy their uniforms. We bought the uniforms on the front end the first time, but from this point forward, they buy the uniforms, they buy the equipment, the basketballs and things like that out of the gate receipts. Central office, the system pays for the supplements and things like that, but they do buy. And some schools, the sixth graders operate the concession stand so they can go on a sixth grade field trip at the end of the year, things like that. It's a worthwhile event.
Well, I'm going to go back to when you were here and when you started these shows. Do you remember or think of one specific show that kind of pops out in your minds that you think back to every now and then? Well, without me being on.
Yeah, of course. I mean, with you and our show, those shows had the highest ratings.
Oh yeah.
Everybody just tuned into that when they saw Coach Ringstaff and Coach Daniels doing the Sports Connection. Wow, I got to drop whatever I'm doing and get in front of the TV. Really, the first show made a big impact on me. I said to myself, I've got to improve. I've got to get better at this. I got to get more relaxed. And I remember having Murphy Fair, who's an expert in high school sports, on the show, and he was great. Had some reporters other than the coaches, had some of the Tennessean reporters on the show, and they gave a lot of good insight to the people in Williamson County. And it was really fun doing the shows. It got to be really fun. At first I was dreading them, and then it got to be fun because I got to interact with the coaches in another way. And we had a good time. But as far as one show, I really can't. I mean, I remember I enjoyed having the opposing coaches at this, and the interaction. Well, where we're going to run and things like that. That was fun.
Right. Well, you gave me some ideas already on some of the reporters. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. I probably need to bring some of those guys back and let them be a part of our show now, because that would bring a different insight, from their perspective coming in. And a lot of these guys around here, they cover a lot of the Williamson County sports on a regular basis, and so they're very, very knowledgeable about what goes on. So I may end up, doing that. Thanks for that idea. Well, as you go back to the time in which you were here, what other things were you involved in instead of just doing TV shows? What was your position at Williamson County Schools?
One day, Dr. Sharber came into my office and she goes, "Athletics happened after school." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "SAC happens after school. You're over the child care now after school." I said, "Yes, ma'am." So that's how I got to be over the child care aspect. So I was over SAC, and Jane Franks at the time, she gave me all of her material, and I was, wow. I was a little overwhelmed at that. But what I remember most about working in Williamson County, I love the individuals at central office.
Oh, yeah.
They're all characters. From Connie Jones, Rebecca Hagan, Debbie Christensen, all of them, they're just great to work with and just to interact. And they really took care of me. If they would bring food or something, they'd make sure that they'd give me a cookie. Not that I needed it, but I had several surrogate mothers when I was working in the Williamson County Central Office.
Well, did they ever abuse you? Because when I go up there,
gosh.
they abuse me when I walk in that place.
It's like I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of Williamson County Schools.
Yeah.
No respect, no respect.
I don't know what we can do to change that. I'm going to blame it on you, bringing that on to me.
I started it.
Yeah,
yes.
you started it. They carried it on. They've done a good job of carrying it on too. Of course, Connie Jones, Alabama fan like she is, it's
there's
tough.
no hope.
That is no hope. Well, let's get into what you're doing present day with Williamson County Schools. Last year, you're the first year to be the head boys basketball coach at Page High School.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about last year and how that went for you.
It was a great experience. I had a good group of seniors coming back, and it was pressure on me initially because the gymnasium is named after my father, the James R. Ringstaff Gymnasium. So, we get another Ringstaff as coach. He can do the same magic as his father did. Well, not exactly. When my father was coaching at Page, there were 3 high schools in Williamson County, Franklin, Page, and Fairview. And then Brentwood came on board, and then several others after that. So the talent in Williamson County had a choice of really 3 schools. And so
Didn't have zoning?
Well, every once in a while they had zoning, but a lot of times it was open zone because Page was never overcrowded. So you could go to Page if you really wanted to, as long as you provided your own transportation. But I had a great group of kids, athletes, and I think we did well. We finished the season 11-16. We came in 4th place in the district, 5th place, and we played Fairview in the first round of the district tournament, lost by 2 points, had a chance to tie it at the end. And that was perfect for the fans and for our players. I hated that we lost, but it was a good experience for all the guys. And we got better as the season went along, and that's all you can ask for. And what most important, the guys enjoyed it, and the guys enjoyed one another. They bonded as a team.
Right. So when this is going to be aired, we're just at the very back end of football regular season. So basketball will be cranking up as far as full-scale practice and going that kind of stuff. Let's talk a little bit, because you guys are doing what they call open gym and lifting weights and all that good stuff right now. So let's talk a little bit about this year's team and who you got coming back on this year's team, and how many seniors you're going to have and that kind of stuff. So.
Okay. We're going to be very, very young. As I mentioned, we had 6 seniors last year who graduated. Right now, I don't have a senior attending open gym or condition or anything. So we're going to be that young. We may have 1 senior coming out from football after football season, but, and we had a great freshman class last year. They beat several teams in the county. And so we have high hopes for the current sophomores, and we have 3 or 4 juniors that we have high hopes for. Right now, we have about 5 or 6 ninth graders that are attending open gym and conditioning, and they show promise. But Dylan White, he started for us last year. He's a junior, and he will be our team leader. He's our point guard. He tied the record for the most steals in a game with 7 last year. And we lost our 3rd highest score in the mid-state last year with Hunter Benefield. So that we're going to have to spread that scoring around. Unfortunately, my son is playing for me. He may think it's unfortunately because sometimes we don't see eye to eye on that. But he has potential to be a scorer. Another junior, Matt O'Toole, he's so aggressive, and he's going to come around. Post guys, we have Christian Denton, who will help us out tremendously. And we have a scrimmage the first Saturday in November at Ravenwood. They're having what you call a play day. So we're scrimmaging 3 teams on that day, and then we're going up to Kentucky to scrimmage a team up in Kentucky the week after that on a Saturday. So we got 2 huge Hall of Fame games against AAA schools, Lincoln County and Tullahoma. And the bad thing is, they took teams who we could compete with year in and year out of our district. Hickman County, East Hickman, Lewis County, and Fairview. They took those out of our district, and we were gifted CPA in our district, who has won the state championship 2 straight years.
Right.
And they didn't have a senior on last year's team. One guy did go to a prep school, but they're going to be odds-on favorite to win the state tournament this year, and we've got them in our district. And we also have Cascade as a newcomer in our district, who is a very senior-dominated team this year. So,
along with Giles County and Marshall County and Spring
Hill.
Hill, which is all good.
Oh, yes.
All good boys basketball right there, all the way down the line.
Right now, we're probably ranked 6th in the district out of 6 teams.
Oh.
Yeah, we're that young, and we're building for the future. But I'm telling the guys, I don't want to wait for the future. I want to win now. I want to do good now, and so that's our goal. We want to make some noise this year.
Now, who's some of your assistant coaches? Are you still trying to fill positions?
Kelly Andrews is one of the assistant coaches. He's been at Page for a long time. He graduated. He's like me. He graduated Page. He's been a Patriot for his entire life. And also this year we're going to get a football coach to help us, Brandon Hitt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know Brandon real well.
Yes.
I had him at Brentwood. He played football for me at Brentwood. Yeah.
And we were talking, and he said, I coached, I won 1 game as a basketball coach in a church league. I said, oh boy, great. Welcome aboard.
Well, if he's willing to learn, you can always teach him what you need to know now.
He said he'll bring energy to a program, so
Yeah.
we're looking forward to that.
That's good. That's good. Now, as far as the number of teams or players, you field a freshman team and a junior varsity team? And
Yes,
varsity?
we'll have 3 schedules. I've got 10 freshman games scheduled, and we've got about 14 JV games scheduled, and then Summit's holding a JV tournament the second week of December, so we're going to go to that. And the varsity, we have 24 games scheduled. We're going to Independence and Thanksgiving to play Independence in a little their Indy Classic on a Saturday night after Thanksgiving. And then we're going to play at Community High School right before the winter break, and then right after winter break. During winter break, we're going to go to Eagleville. So we're like in three or four different classics. Giles County is hosting our district tournament this year. After the winter break, our whole schedule is just district games, one right after another. So we'll have 10 games against those schools, and I'm sure that the James Ringstaff Gymnasium will be packed when CPA comes into town.
Sure. Well, being the only Williamson County school in your district, are you going to try to play any of the AAA schools?
We're playing Independence twice.
Independence,
and
okay.
we're playing Summit once.
Okay.
When we had tried to work it out where Franklin High School, they wanted to do a retro game in the wellness gym at Page.
Oh.
And I couldn't get that worked out in time. I don't think all of our scoreboards work in the wellness gym.
Okay.
Unless you're near a door or something. So we're going to have to work on that a little bit. But we're excited about this season. We got brand new lights in the Ringstaff gym. We can see what we're doing now. Kirk Elliott had our floor redone. So we're excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, now if I go to watch one of your practices, one little thing that I played a little basketball when I was in high school,
Really?
believe it or not. Now, I mean, I wasn't as big as what I am now. I was a little bitty guy. But one of my fortes was shooting foul shots. So how much time would you spend with your kids shooting foul shots? I mean, do you make them run if they miss? I mean, just kind of give me an idea about foul shots.
And we in practice with foul shots, free throws. I will call 2 guys out to the free throw line, and if both of them miss, then the whole team runs what we call line touch. It's
A little pressure on them.
Yeah, and if they hit one, if one of them hits and one of them misses, they have to do a down and back, and then we do it again, two different players, until both of them hit. And in all honesty, I don't spend a whole lot of time on free throws during practice. I count on them spending time after practice, staying after practice and shooting free throws on their own, because when I have those guys for a very limited time, I want to do 5-on-5 stuff, fundamentals and drills. I organize practices where we're doing something different every 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's something like a lesson plan that a teacher has.
Sure.
And sometimes we need to spend a little bit more time on the fundamental drill or offense or defense. But we only have 1 week of practice before our first scrimmage game.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to cover a whole lot of things during that 5 days of practice. And then we have another 5 days before the next scrimmage, and then we're playing games.
Mm-hmm. Hall of Fame game kicks in, doesn't it? Yeah.
So we really only have 2 weeks before once we can start officially practicing to our first regular season game, Hall of Fame game.
Mm-hmm.
And those 2 Hall of Fame games are against AAA schools.
Oh. Now, they don't count on your record, though.
They do count now.
Oh, they do count?
They used not to, but you had a choice. If you won, you could count them on your record. If you lost, you'd have to. Yeah, but now we got to count them win or lose.
Mm.
So
now, are you playing any tournaments?
We're playing called a Eagleville Classic and a Community High School Classic, and we're playing 1 game in the Indy Classic at Independence. We're playing Independence twice and Summit once.
Okay. Now, as far as the official start date for basketball is when?
Official day for practice, October 28th, Monday, October 28th.
Okay. First week of November the 1st, then when it comes into play.
Yes.
Well, Ralph, I tell you what, I appreciate you coming back and being with us for this special show.
Well, thanks, Coach, for having me. You got me to relax as the show went on, but I was sweating at the very beginning. Y'all were making me nervous.
You did a great job.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of Williamson County Sports Connection. I'm Jack Daniels, your host.
Have you recently moved to our school system and your child is nervous about making friends at his new school? It can be tough to adjust to a new school, but you can help your child make new friends by teaching him some simple strategies just for joining a group. First of all, teach your child to watch the group and notice what they're doing before trying to join in. Make sure he understands how important it is to watch his own body language and to be sure that he is open and friendly and approachable. Also, you can teach him to think ahead and plan what he's going to say. Help him understand that it's a good idea to ask to join the group and not just stand off to the side and wait for them to ask him. He can find common interests to talk about by asking questions that encourage other children to talk about things that interest them. And finally, it's very important to teach your child to look others in the eye when he is speaking to them, because it is such a sign of respect. Helping your child with these social skills will help him make those great friends that will last him a lifetime. And by the way, if you're new to Williamson County, welcome. You've moved to a great place where you and your child can make some lifetime friends. Remember, stay connected. You're the vital link in your child's school success. I'm Joan Tidwell, and this is Parent Connection.
Williamson County was named after Dr. Hugh Williamson, a signer of the U.S. Constitution. The county was incorporated on October 26, 1799. The official seal was adopted in July 1968. The seal, designed by county historian Virginia Bowman and journalist James H. Armistead, was accepted by Judge Fulton Greer at the July 15, 1968 quarterly court term. It features 4 quadrants representing the diversity of the county. The upper left section depicts a flag and cannon, which symbolizes the rich history in the county. The upper right quadrant shows a schoolhouse illustrating the importance of education. The lower left portrays a Bible in front of a church window, which represents religion. The lower right segment shows farm animals denoting agriculture.